everybody, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRiftNoDQ. Before we get started, I would like to give a special shout out to Michael Lagrange, who left a very generous super chat on the last video. He is the current reigning and defending NoDQ super chat champion. If you would like to become champion, just leave a super chat on the YouTube premiere of this video. The person who leaves the single biggest super chat will become champion. With that being said, let's get down to your questions. This question comes from SCW Wrestling Channel. Do you think it's time we got general managers back on Raw and SmackDown? They could be a great centerpiece to the show if used correctly, like William Regal is on NXT. Your thoughts? I am not a fan of the heel GM, the heel authority figure. I think that has been overdone very much. However, I'm cool with there being babyface GMs. WWE did try to reintroduce GMs a couple of years ago with Shane McMahon and Mick Foley, but it fizzled out, unfortunately. I do like there being somebody who makes matches. It seems like lately, with no televised authority figure, you only have the real life people running the show. It feels like there's no order or control. You just have people making matches. A few times in recent memory, we've seen people like Adam Pearce, who's a WWE producer. He would try and be the law and order. But yeah, I would like there to be some sort of law and order, somebody that the wrestlers go to, and you have storylines develop. I think it's a good thing. I would be fine with GMs coming back as baby faces. This question comes from Fahad. After watching Backlash, don't you think that Edge is not completely fit to be in a match? Age is definitely a factor. I think that Edge will be back, whether it's the best idea or not. I think Edge, even pushing 50, is still in better shape than most of us. I think he could pull it off. Maybe it wasn't the best idea for him to do a 40-plus minute match with Randy Orton. And sometimes freak accidents happen. Of course, there's going to be a higher risk the older you are, history of injuries, your body's beat up. So I don't know how much Edge has left in the tank. I'm sure that his heart is still strong. He wants to keep doing it. He has that desire, but at some point his body's going to tell him enough's enough. Maybe he'll come back for a few more matches. I think we'll see him back at least one more time. Maybe several matches. He might push his luck. If one match goes well, he'll keep going. Almost like The Undertaker, where The Undertaker was on the verge of being done, and then he continues to have that itch and wants to come back, and he feels he can do one more match. Same thing might apply to Edge, even if it's not really an ideal situation at his age. I got this question from Joe Stewart. So Twitter articles say Bray Wyatt wanted Liv Morgan to be Sister Abigail. That was the reason for the weird return promos and slight push. Vince has gone against it and wants Tamina as Sister Abigail. WTF, what are your views? Well, let me clear this up. Regarding Tamina, WWE has not pursued that little teaser that Tamina produced on her Twitter account where she was in a straitjacket. We saw her on SmackDown the other week, and she was just back to being regular Tamina. Actually, I don't think there was anything on TV to even tease her going in a different direction. There have been rumors about Sister Abigail for many years, going back to the early days of the Wyatt family. Remember, Paige was rumored to be Sister Abigail back in like 2014, and it never came to be. I'm not sure what the deal is. I'm not sure if ideas were pitched to the head honchos in WWE and it just did not end up becoming a reality. I feel like there was a missed opportunity, though. I think it would have been cool to have a Sister Abigail as part of the Wyatt family, have a female member. It would have been cool. You could have had somebody like Nikki Cross in that role. There were a lot of people over the years that could have fit in and been that Sister Abigail character. But for whatever reason, did not happen. And honestly, I think at this point, why even bother? I guess if WWE is totally out of ideas for Wyatt, they could always do that. But like logically, if there was a Sister Abigail in the storyline realm of WWE, if there was an Abigail, wouldn't she have shown up by now? Like, why would she just show up after 7 years? Doesn't really make any sense. I guess if you had somebody who could write a compelling storyline, they could explain it. But this is WWE, and I feel like they would just have her randomly show up with no rhyme or reason, and it would just be silly, but hey, anything's possible. This question comes from Eric Cruz. If Brock Lesnar had stayed in 2004, was he going to be the face of WWE? Or if Randy Orton had not screwed up early in his career, was he going to be the face? Why was Edge passed over in favor of Cena? Regarding Edge, I would not say Edge was passed over in favor of Cena. Edge was never really groomed to be the top guy. He was always being pushed as one of the guys that could be at the upper mid-card level. But I do not think WWE ever saw Edge as like, this is the guy we're going to build the company around. As far as Brock, I think WWE definitely wanted Brock to be the face of the company, and he ultimately quit. He walked out. If Brock had not left, I think he would have continued to be the top guy on SmackDown and maybe even go back to Raw, although Triple H was on Raw at the time. I think because he knew by being on a different brand than Lesnar, he would be the top guy for sure. And Randy Orton, I think there were some maturity issues with him, and WWE pushed him perhaps too quickly. I think maybe if Randy Orton did have a better attitude at the time, the company would have maybe given him the Batista push. It's funny because I think that Batista ultimately got the push that Orton was supposed to get. Orton won the title at SummerSlam in 2004, and it really did not catch on with the fans. The babyface act kind of fizzled out, and then all of a sudden we saw Batista getting this momentum, and WWE went with him to beat Triple H at WrestleMania, and Batista became the guy on Raw and then went over to SmackDown and became the guy. So yeah, I think maybe if Orton's push had gone over more with the fans and if he didn't have the attitude issues, he would have had that Batista push. This question comes from Vegeta Knows the Wrestles. Can you see AEW using the TNT Championship Open Challenge as a way to turn Cody heel? I mean, he starts to get desperate to retain and starts using underhanded tactics, and then when he does lose, he attacks the winner. Well, that is an interesting idea, and some people feel like it's already starting to happen, that there are little subtle teases of Cody turning heel. I would not mind it, and especially with people already resenting Cody for being in this spot, because he runs the company and he's booking himself as the champion, all that stuff. So he could go the Jeff Jarrett route and go heel and start using heel tactics to win every match if the fans are going to resent him anyways. I mean, Cody's a tremendous babyface. Going back to that promo he did right before Full Gear, that was one of the best promos that I've heard in a very long time. He's a great babyface. He could pull off the heel role though. And with Arn Anderson there, if they're insistent on keeping Anderson part of the package, I just feel weird about Arn Anderson being this mentor for Cody when it doesn't really even need to be happening. But if Cody went heel, he's got a guy out there to help cheat for him. Like, that to me makes more sense. A babyface with a manager, especially a guy who can talk, like, what's the point? So yeah, I would not be opposed to a Cody heel turn, and we could end up seeing it, if he's going to be champion for the long haul. It would be a nice long-term storyline where maybe he does get more desperate over time because he's been champion for so long and there's more pressure on him. It would make sense. So, kind of like Diesel in a way, where Diesel was champion for so long and then, he just eventually, when he lost the title, completely lost his mind. He lost his cool. Big Daddy Cool lost his cool. You could do something similar like that with Cody. This question comes from Sun Goshiku. Josh, were you satisfied with the conclusion of the Steve Austin and Mr. McMahon feud at Fully Loaded in 1999? Yeah, I was. I mean, it was an entertaining match. I think that Austin and McMahon had really run its course by that point. The whole higher power storyline with Vince being the guy really did not need to be done. I think Austin and McMahon had a nice finish at WrestleMania, and then Vince going babyface I thought was an intriguing storyline. And ultimately, he ended up going back to being a babyface anyways after Fully Loaded. He came back and feuded with Triple H and all that stuff. But that was the way things were during the Attitude Era. Guys would turn constantly, go back between face and heel, and storylines were always changing. It was just another month to milk the Austin McMahon storyline, but I did like Fully Loaded. I liked the build-up for it with Undertaker continuing to bust open Austin and Austin busting open Vince. We had some fun moments, so ultimately I did like it. That will wrap things up for this edition of No DQ&A Video. Thank you as always for watching. Please keep sending in your questions to @AaronRift on Twitter. Use the hashtag PAIV, please answer in video, so I can see your questions. And stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest wrestling news and rumors. Take care, everybody. Stay positive, be safe, and I'll see you next time.